All right, algebra students, today I'm going to be showing you another method for solving a system. We're going to be using elimination, all right? And you guys are going to like elimination so much better than what we did in 5.2. In 5.2, we used a method called substitution. All right, so today I'm going to show you guys a different method using elimination. We're still going to be using algebra, and we're still trying to find the same thing. We're still trying to find where these two lines would cross on the graph, okay? The point where these two lines would cross. Okay, so elimination, this method is so much easier than substitution, okay? And there's a way that you can use this method. So here's what you have to check if you are able to use elimination. What you need is you need your x's and y's to be on the same side of the equation. All right, you need everything to be organized. So you need your x's to be lined up, your y's to be lined up, and your numbers to be lined up. Okay, then the last thing you need, very important here, the last thing you need is one of your variables has to be opposite from each other. Okay, so take a look at our y's. We have a minus 4y and we have a plus 4y. As long as one of your x's or your y's are opposite from each other, then you can use this elimination method. All right, so this equation checks out, so we're going to go through our steps and I'm going to show you guys elimination. You guys are going to like this, okay? So step number 1 is stack and add. All right, so these equations are stacked up on top of each other. So now we're just going to add them together. All right, so I'm going to add up my x's and my y's and my numbers over here. So if I have 3x plus 1x, that's going to get me 4x. My y's would cancel out. Minus 4y plus 4y would give me 0 equals 10 minus 2 is going to give me 8. Okay, so by stacking and adding, I am left with 4x equals 8. All right, now I'm just going to solve for x. Divide by 4, divide by 4. X is going to give me 2. All right, you guys see how much faster that was to get one of my answers for either x or y? All right, pretty nice. So now that we have our x coordinate, which is 2, now you can take this 2 and you can plug it into any one of these equations to solve for y. All right, let's just go with this one. So let's take the 2. We'll put it into our bottom equation for x. All right, and then we're on to step number 3. We're just going to solve for y. So if I put 2 in for x, I'm going to have 2, and then the rest of this equation right here, plus 4y equals negative 2. All right, now I'm just going to solve for y, going through my chapter 1 algebra steps, minus 2, canceling out the 2, minus 2. So I get 4y equals negative 4. Divide by 4, divide by 4, and that gives me y equals negative 1. All right, so there is my y coordinate. All right, do you guys see how much faster and how much simpler that is to use elimination? I know some of you guys are smiling out there thinking like, wow, this is going to be so much easier. All right, it is. You guys are welcome for that. Just a side note, I do take small pieces of gratitude that you might want to express, like any cookies, chocolate, coffee cards, any of that would be just fine. All right, so let's take a look at what else we got here. We'll move further on into this. Oh, whoa, did you guys just see something there? Oh, man, what was that? I have no idea. All right, so here's one. Try this one on your own. See if you guys can do this elimination process. All right, what you're looking for, we can already do it to this equation here, this system, because we have our x's and y's on the same side, and everything is lined up. Our y's, our x's, and our numbers. And if you're looking at this 3x, they are opposite of each other. We got plus 3x and minus 3x. So you guys are good to go to stack and add. All right, and you're going to try and find your x and y coordinates. That would be the solution to this system. These are stacked up. Add them together. I'll let you guys take care of the rest. See if you can do steps 2 and 3 on your own. Pause the video, and then in a few minutes we'll take a look and see what you guys got for an answer. All right. So going through our steps, we'll take a look at what we got. We should have gotten x is going to be -2 and y is going to be 4. All right, so when we stack and add, we get 3y equals 12. Solve for y, y equals 4. I took that 4, I put it back into the top equation for y, did the math down here, and I'm left with x equals -2. All right, check that out, make any corrections that you need to. And we'll take a look at some more problems we can solve with elimination. Okay, so here's another example. We can use elimination on this one. We have our x's stacked up and our y's stacked up. Our x's and y's are on the same side, but we have one issue here, all right? We have a 2x and another 2x, but these two x's are not opposite of each other. All right, one of them needs to be a -2x to be able to use elimination. Okay, so there's a trick that we can do to get one of these to become -2x. All right, what we're going to do, step number 1, when we got a situation like this, we're going to drop a bomb so that way that we can use elimination, because I'm sure you guys probably don't want to go back to the substitution way. All right, so we're going to drop a bomb, and I'm going to drop a bomb on this bottom equation right here. Okay, so wrap this equation up in some parentheses. All right, same time, let me get my x and y coordinates over here because that's what we're trying to find. Okay, so I got that ready. All right, so wrap this up in parentheses, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a -1 bomb right there. Okay, so I'm going to put a -1 bomb on this equation. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this entire equation by -1. Okay, so when I do that, that's going to make this become a -2x. Okay, so I'm going to multiply everything by -1. So if you multiply stuff by -1, it basically just makes everything the opposite of what you see. All right, so -1 times 2x is going to make that -2x. -1 times -5y is going to make that +5y. And -1 times 13 is going to make that -13. Okay, so I just changed that equation a little bit. Now look what happened. I got +2x and I have -2x. I am ready to do my neat little trick of stacking and adding. All right, so now we are ready to stack and add. Okay, we're going to add these things together. Forget about that -1. We already distributed the -1, so it's gone. So let's just add up what we got. Our x's would come out to 0. We got 1y plus 5y is going to get me 6y equals -5, and -13 added together is going to get me -18. All right, so we got that to work out. Now we're moving on to step number 3. So my equation is 6y equals -18. Now I'm just solving for y. Divide by 6, y comes out to -3. All right, I'm going to put -3 into my coordinate parentheses there. All right, now I just got to put this -3 into either one of these equations. All right, I can put it into this one or I can put it into this one. It looks like this one might be the easiest to do. So I'm going to put -3 in for y, and I'm going to move on to step number 4, and I'm going to solve for x now. So if I put -3 in there, that top equation is going to look like 2x. All right, -3 in for y, we're just going to make that -3 equals -5. All right, All right, sorry guys, I don't know what happened there. My video kind of cut off. All right, but here's the rest of that equation worked out. If you go through our steps, solving for x, then we're going to get x equals -1. All right, so then there's my spot where those two lines would cross, my solution, -1 comma -3. All right, let's take a look at another type of problem. Oh, this one you guys are going to work out on your own. All right, so if you're taking a look at this one's ready for elimination except for these three y's here. All right, we need one of these to be a -3y. Okay, so you're going to drop a bomb on one of these equations. All right, so I would say go with the top equation. All right, wrap that up in parentheses, and this way you're going to cancel out some of your negatives. So drop a -1 bomb right there. All right, we'll set up our coordinates for what we're trying to find over here. Okay, there's our x and there's our y. Drop that -1, do your distributive property to that equation, and then move on to step number 2, and you guys are ready to stack and add. All right, work that out. Take a few minutes to work that out. Pause the video, and we'll see what you guys come up with for an answer. All right, so after you distribute that -1 bomb, this is what you come up with. That becomes a +2x, -3y, and +5. Stack and add, and you get x equals 20. So it already solved itself. So we didn't have much to do for step number 3. So x is automatically coming out to 20. Now we take that 20, I put it into this bottom one for x because that seemed like it'd be a little easier to work out. So now if I put that 20 in here, we're solving for y. So there is my work for solving for y, and y comes out to -15. All right, so there's my two coordinates, 20 comma -15. Kind of some big numbers, but that's like the coordinates where those two lines would cross. All right, take a look at what you guys got. See if you got any questions, make any fixes that you need to fix, and we're going to talk about one last type of problem, and then we got a word problem to do after that. Okay, so here we got this next system here, and we can use elimination on this one. We got our x's and our y's on the same side. Everything is stacked up. The problem is, though, that none of these numbers with x or y are the same, and they're also not opposite of each other. Okay, so we're going to fix that. We're not just going to drop one bomb. We're going to drop two bombs here. Okay, we're going to drop a bomb on the top equation, and we're going to drop a bomb on this bottom equation. All right, now a bomb that you drop, it doesn't only have to be a -1. It can be any number that you want to. You just want to pick some numbers because your goal is to either get your x's to be the same and opposite or your y's to be the same and opposite. So you got to pick a number that you want to multiply both of these by so that you can make that happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I want to get my x's to cancel out. So I'm going to drop a 2 bomb on my top equation and a 5 bomb on my bottom equation. All right, a +2 and a +5. Okay, so when I do that, if I do my distributive property for the top and for the bottom equation, all right, so I'm going to distribute those numbers, multiply those, and I'm going to write out what I have left over here. Okay, so I'm going to go 2 times -5 is going to give me -10x plus 4y equals, and then 2 times 32 will give me 64. All right, so that's what my top equation is going to look like. Now for my bottom equation, I'm going to multiply 5 by everything inside of here. All right, so that's going to give me 10x plus 15y equals, and then 5 times 10 is going to come out to 50. All right, now look what happened. Now I am ready to stack and add because I have a -10x and a +10x. All right, so now I'm on step number 2, stack and add. These are all stacked up. We'll add those together. My x's disappear, and I get 19y equals 114. All right, now I'm on step number 3. I'm going to solve for y. I can just do that right here. Divide by 19, divide by 19, and y is going to come out to 6. All right, so now I got my y coordinate. Set up my coordinates over here, x and y. All right, y comes out to 6. All right, now, very important, you're going to take this 6 and you got to go back to your original equations when you plug this in. All right, it just makes it a bit simpler. So go back to your original equation. I'm going to put 6 in for this y right there because it looks like it'll be a little easier, not so many negatives to work with. So I'm going to rewrite this out with 6 in there. So now I got 2x plus 3 times 6 equals 10. All right, now I'm just going to go back to my chapter 1 steps and solve this equation for x. All right, cancel out the 18. You get 2x equals negative 8. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is going to be negative 4. All right? So we'll put negative 4 right there. I kind of went through these steps kind of fast. We've done so many of these. Take a few seconds to write those ones down, see how we got the negative 4. And that is our answer for this one, negative 4 comma 6. All right? So now I got one for you guys to try out. See if you can figure out what bomb it is that you're going to drop onto one of these equations. Okay, I'll help you out. I'll get you a start. So we're going to drop a bomb on this. We got our x coordinate and my y coordinate that I'm trying to find. Okay, what I'm going to do, what I suggest is take this top one. Since we already have a negative 3x on the bottom, let's make this one become a positive 3x. Okay, so drop yourself a 3 bomb onto that top equation, do your distributive property. All right, and then move on to stack and add. All right, I'm going to have you guys drop a 3 bomb on that. I'm going to drop a completely different type A bomb. So that way you guys can see that even no matter which one you use, your numbers will still work out. Okay, so work yours out, see what you get, pause the video in a few minutes, and then we will see what answers you come up with. Okay, so what I did is I dropped a negative 2 on the bottom equation. Okay, and you still should come out to 3 comma 4. That would be your solution. If you take a look at my steps after dropping the negative 2, my x came out to 3. I put that 3 back into my top equation for x, and it comes out to y equals 4. Okay, so no matter what bomb you use, it should still come out to the same numbers. All right, take a look at that. See if you need to make any corrections to yours. And the last thing we're going to talk about is a word problem. Okay, so we're going to take this word problem. We've worked ones like these already for Chapter 5, but we're going to take this and show you how you can work it out using elimination. Okay, so here we have Paige. She has $7.75 to buy 12 sheets of felt and cardstock for her scrapbook. All right, the felt costs 50 cents per sheet, and the cardstock costs 75 cents per sheet. All right, we want to know how many sheets of each kind can Paige buy. So we're going to write a system. We're using F for the number of felt and C for the number of cardstock. Our 2 equations that we're going to write. We're going to make one of them that shows what the total cost is. Okay, so we will do that. So we need the cost for the felt, and we're going to use F for felt. So we have 50 cents times the number of felt pieces plus the cost for the cardstock, 75 cents times the number of cardstock equals $7.75 total, because that's what she's going to spend. All right, so one of our equations shows the total that she's going to spend. The second equation is going to be for how many items she buys. So she's going to buy a certain number of felt pieces, and she's going to buy a certain number of cardstock to give 12 items purchased altogether. All right, so there's my two equations for the system. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bottom equation here, and I'm going to drop a bomb on that one. So I'm going to wrap this up in parentheses. Okay, and what I'm going to do, because I have a positive 0.50f right here, I want to make this one negative 0.50. So I'm going to multiply that by negative 0.50. So everything inside of the parentheses is going to get multiplied by negative 0.50. Okay, so I'm going to work out what that would be on this screen before we flip over to the next screen. So this would give me negative 0.50f plus negative 0.50c. And that would come out to negative 0.50 times 12 would give me negative 6. All right, so these two are ready to stack and add. We're going to do that on the next screen. All right, you guys don't need to rewrite this down if you don't have to, but here's my two equations that we had to work with. We got 0.50f plus 0.75c equals $7.75. And then the one after we dropped the bomb, we got negative 0.50f minus 0.50c comes out to negative 6. All right, so there's my two equations. They are ready to stack and add. When I do that, my f's cancel out. 0.75 minus 0.50 is 0.25c equals, and 775 minus 6 is going to get me 175. All right, so that's what happens after my stacking and adding. Now I'm just solving for c. Divide by 0.25, divide by 0.25, and c is going to give you 7. All right, now to go back and figure out what f is, it's very simple to use. If I flip back here for a second, use this original equation right here. All right, because we know that c comes out to 7, so then that means f has to come out to 5 to get 12. All right, so if I have f plus 7 equals 12, then I know that f must be 5, because 5 plus 7 gets us 12. All right, so that's how many of each kind that she has to buy. All right, so that's how you'd work out a word problem and solve that using elimination. I got one for you guys to try. Check this one out, see what you guys come up with. Make your two equations, one for the total cost and then one for the total number of items that you're going to buy. All right, take a few minutes to do this, pause the video, and we'll see what you guys come up with for an answer. Okay, so here's what we should have gotten. Here is our equation that represents the total cost. All right, using L and T for lilies and tulips. All right, then here's my other equation, L plus T equals 13. I'm going to multiply that. I'm going to drop a negative 1.25 bomb onto that. This is what I come up with after dropping that, and I'm ready to stack and add, which will show that on the second screen. Okay, so here are my two equations. We're stacking and adding. We get negative 0.35t equals negative 1.40. Dividing by negative 0.35, my t comes out to 4. So then my lilies is going to be 9. 9 plus 4 gives me 13 total. All right, there's your lesson for 5.3. I hope that worked out for you guys and you guys are excited about doing a little less work to get to the same results. Tomorrow we'll take a look at 5.4.